We talk to sales leaders all the time. The vast majority are sharp and laser focused on their revenue goals and how they plan to get there. They read tons of books on strategy. Selling's just in their DNA, but many are overlooking one of the biggest assets that they have at their disposal. They're not using their conversation data to improve their strategy and develop their sales force. So here's an example. We recently uncovered a really stark reality for one of our customers. During a baselining exercise, we found that only 12% of their growth and retention team's interactions even touched on additional products, platform benefits, marketing support, or development opportunities, which are the key ways that they grow their customers, not even being mentioned. The vast majority were defaulting to basic support calls. Now, we know that support is part of the job, but every contact should be looked at as an opportunity to grow. So, without the ability to measure those critical behaviors at scale, these valuable opportunities were simply being missed. So how did we get their GNR team back on track? We deployed our AIM sales methodology. It's a proven framework for sales use cases that helps teams use data to focus on the behaviors that matter in a very quick 6-week sprint. So what does AIM stand for? Alignment, implementation, monetization. First step, alignment. Our goal of this phase is to point everyone at the same revenue target before touching the data. Here's the upshot on how we make it happen. First thing, we hold an assessment workshop with customer sales leadership, review their primary KPIs, and talk about rep behaviors that could influence those KPIs. During that session, we agree on 3 KPIs. In this case, net revenue retention, cross-sell percentage, and win rate. We call these our big 3. These metrics determine success or failure of the entire sprint. Post-workshop, our team goes back and documents all of our hypotheses and maps those conversation intelligence metrics to those primary KPIs. Here's a simple example. Agent cross-sell effort, pitching other products, maps to the primary KPI of cross-sell percentage. Essentially, if an agent is making their pitch more frequently, we should see a lift in their cross-sell success. Simple, easy to understand, easy to take action on. So what comes out of this is a 1-page KPI matrix where we document all of these connections and an updated project charter that everybody signs off on. We're all on the same page. Next up, implementation. This is where our team gets down to business. We develop and build content to measure all of those behaviors that we talked about during our alignment phase. All that content goes through a rigorous testing process until we hit acceptable accuracy and recall levels. Once we're there, we continuously monitor and QA that content. Once that's done, it's time for the key deliverable. We build a suite of dashboards that allow those users, those boots on the ground, to manage to the behaviors that we're looking to change. Now, that GNR team that struggled with visibility into what their agents were doing, they have a clear line of sight into their conversations. And it doesn't take a bunch of effort client side to see their performance shifts. So the output for this phase, production grade content, dashboards, and an accuracy log for ongoing QA. Last phase, definitely not least, monetization. This is where the real customer involvement starts. Over the 6-week sprint, we collaborate to provide ongoing training, documentation, support to agents. Data and the insights from it is great, but it's worthless without this effort. Our team monitors the big 3 metrics and all of the related leading indicators. If we're progressing as expected, we stay the course. If the data shows negative impacts, back to the drawing board we go, we pivot. Now, once the sprint is done, we have a clear outcome that gets packaged into an ROI calculation for the customer. Quick, targeted effort, and measurable results that can now be shared within the organization. Then we can rinse repeat with other KPIs or dive into other behaviors that correlate to success. That's it. Very straightforward. This particular customer saw a 2.5x improvement in the behavioral indicators that we focused on, and the KPIs that they mapped to started to follow suit. Now, there is still room for improvement. They could still get better, so the work continues. But their entire team was stoked on the progress and the improved visibility. Their GNR team is actually starting to function like a growth and retention team. So, what should you take away from this? Alignment comes first. We have to build a shared vision on those KPIs, our big three, and what influences them before we analyze a single call or touch a single piece of data. Next up, we have to implement secondary metrics and a mechanism to efficiently track progress on those metrics. And last but not least, make moves, monetize quickly. The reason we use a 6-week pilot is so we can make an impact fast and pivot where needed. You can be a master of sales strategy, read every book under the sun, and still miss out if you're not using the data you have right at your fingertips. Want to learn more? Message me. I'd be glad to share our playbook. Drop any questions or feedback in the comments. Thanks a lot.